How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to S3M2 Football and welcome to today's football preview video. For this one, we're looking at some action taking place this weekend in the English Premier League, where the Manchester Derby takes a center stage this weekend. So please join me as I talk just a little bit about the match taking place this weekend on a Sunday, the 15th of December, at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester, that sees Manchester City hosting Manchester United. We start off our team analysis in this one with the home side being the Citizens. Now, the last five fixtures for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City have ended in one win, two draws, and two losses. City's last match was a 2-0 loss away at Juventus in the Champions League earlier this week. In these last five fixtures, the Sky Blues have scored 8 goals, but they've conceded more than that with 9 goals, so the defense is still looking very, very leaky. The first player I'd like to talk about for Manchester City has got to be Belgian attacking midfielder Kevin De Bruyne. In 14 appearances, it's just 2 goals and 2 assists for the Belgian playmaker. But in De Bruyne, I think Manchester City have a midfielder who's got tons of creativity. He can pass, he can dribble, he can score. But I think it's time for Kevin De Bruyne to now show a bit of maturity. A lot of the players seem very disheartened and they seem like their confidence has taken a massive knock. And it's time for De Bruyne to prove that he can be one of the leaders in this team. Next up, I want to talk about English left winger Jack Grealish. In 16 appearances, Jack Grealish has no goals, but he does have 2 assists. And in him, I think Manchester City have a player out wide who's got a lot of speed, who's got great close control, and who's very good in 1v1 situations. I think Jack Grealish has really struggled with consistency this season, and he really needs to start working on it if he's looking to secure a place in the starting 11 at Manchester City. Next up, I want to talk about German central midfielder Ilkay Gundogan. In 21 appearances, Gundogan has 2 goals and 1 assist. And in Gundogan, I see a very flexible, very intelligent central midfielder. Gundogan has great composure, but he's also got great adaptability. He's a player who can play pretty much anywhere in that midfield for Manchester City. In terms of injuries, Pep Guardiola's team have problems. At centre-back, they're missing Akanji, Nathan Ake, and John Stones. In midfield, they're missing Kovacic, Rodri, and Phil Foden. And I think all of these injuries have now started to pile up and cause major problems for this team. I think Pep Guardiola's looked to perhaps alter and tweak his formation to compensate for these absences. And now we're seeing Manchester City line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. The idea remains the same: hold on to possession, monopolize the ball, play a patient style of football, probing passes, find the weaknesses and then exploit. But now we're seeing a double 6 for stability and control in the midfield. Both of those holding midfielders or central midfielders will be used as deep line playmakers who will then just look to play raking balls forward to either the wingers or Kevin De Bruyne in that number 10 position, and he will then take over and handle distribution in the final third for Manchester City. Okay, now onto the away team. Now for the Red Devils, the last 5 fixtures have ended in 3 wins and 2 losses. Manchester United's last match was a 2-1 win away at Victoria Pilsen in the Europa League. In these last 5 fixtures, Manchester United have scored 11 goals, but they've conceded 8 goals. So this team is now getting goals, but they're still looking very leaky at the back as well. The first player I'd like to talk about for Manchester United has got to be Portuguese attacking midfielder Bruno Fernandes. In 23 appearances, Bruno Fernandes has scored 5 goals and contributed 10 assists. In Fernandes, I think Manchester United have a playmaker who's very good with the ball and without it. He can dribble, he can pass. Bruno Fernandes is very good at finding and taking advantage of spaces all over the pitch. Next up, I want to talk about Danish centre forward Rasmus Højlund. In 17 appearances, Højlund has 7 goals and 1 assist. And in him, I think United have a very direct centre forward. He is a player that chooses to concern himself with getting the finish as opposed to perhaps dribbling with the ball or wasting time on it. But for me, it's his work rate that sets Rasmus Højlund apart from everybody else. Rasmus Højlund is a player who I think is very determined, very dedicated, and just has that no-die attitude. And finally, I want to talk about Moroccan right back Nusar Mazraoui. In 23 appearances, it's just 2 assists for Mazraoui, but in him, I think Manchester United have a wide man who is box to box. He's got tons of stamina. He's very dynamic. Mazraoui is always moving, looking to take advantage of space, looking to play his teammates into space, but he's a player who does just as much going forward as he does defensively as well. In terms of injuries, United have some concerns of their own, particularly in the heart of their defense. Luke Shaw at left back is still out, and then Johnny Evans at centre back is also an issue. But I think new coach Ruben Amorim has decided to solve this issue by lining his team up in a 3-4-2-1 formation. That back trident of Lisandro Martinez, Matthias de Ligt, and maybe Mazraoui looks to just sort of keep themselves solid in the center. United are still set up to attack on the counter. They're looking to move into and attack open spaces all the time, but they do it at pace. United is moving at speed all the time, and with players like Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, and Amad Diallo, they're always looking to overwhelm the opposition defense with all of their speed. United players, if given a little bit of space, will turn it into a lot of space. Okay, and finally, onto the head-to-head in the S3M2 Verdict. Now, the last 5 Manchester derbies have ended in 4 wins for Manchester City and 1 win for Manchester United. So the odds stacked heavily against Manchester United here. In these last 5 clashes between the two sides, City have scored 10 goals and United have scored just half of that with 5. So yet another statistic that makes it seem like Guardiola's team are definitely in the driver's seat here. If we look at the Premier League table right now, Manchester City are 4th with 27 points, while Manchester United are 13th, 8 points behind City on 19 points. For City, I would say their slump is a problem of their own making. This team has tasted success time in and time out again and again, and I think now the players are just sort of maybe a little bored. And that's resulted in the situation where Manchester City have 1 win in the last 10 games. Yes, Guardiola has bemoaned all of his defensive issues, and I think that sort of exposed City for having a major lack of stability in the center. Yes, you're missing center backs and you're missing your holding midfielder in Rodri, a player who brought so much to the City team: aggression, composure, stamina, just that winning mentality, and now this team is without that altogether. I think up front as well, Manchester City have proven to be overly reliant on Erling Haaland for goals, to the extent where Guardiola was so confident in Haaland that he let Julian Alvarez join Atletico Madrid. And what that's done is it's now made Manchester City a little one-dimensional, I would say. Haaland does get you goals, yes, but he doesn't do as much work off the ball in terms of running and being able to create chances through his dribbling like Julian Alvarez did. And I think City are really missing that. For United, this is a new look Manchester United, not in terms of faces on the pitch, but in terms of their attitude and their mentality. It is 5 wins in the last 10 for United with 2 losses, so at least now they're getting results and it's looking very positive for the Red Devils moving forward. The players are now playing with more freedom, more confidence, and I think things are slowly but surely getting better at Old Trafford. Casemiro for me was a major issue at Manchester United, and he turned into a bit of a scapegoat for the fans and the media, a player that everybody was just blaming all the time. And now under Amorim, he's been given more players around him to help take the pressure off him, so that if he's flying in and making those aggressive tackles and winning the ball back, he immediately has an open player to then channel the ball to. I think also having a player like Ugarte who can come off the bench or start next to Casemiro as a partner also gives him a little bit more breathing room. But in Ugarte, I think United also have a replacement if something does happen to Casemiro. So now we're seeing Manchester United go out with a plan. Bruno Fernandes as well, for me, offensively is looking very good. He's looking fluid. He's looking like a player who wants to get goals and assists, and he's moving the ball very efficiently and very smoothly. But the Etihad has proven to be very problematic for Manchester United, particularly in the Premier League. United have managed to beat City in cup competitions, but in the league it's been City all the way. My score prediction here is going to be Manchester City 2, Manchester United 2. Despite the fact that I think both of these teams come into this match not looking the best, but I do think also they're not going to do enough to win it. I think neither team is going to play that poorly that they'll lose, but I also think neither team is going to find that extra gear to go into to just see them over the finish line. I'm expecting to see goals created from mistakes at the back and not particularly from gorgeous play, but I would not be surprised if I see one or two moments of magic in this Manchester derby.
Hi, thank you for making it to the end of this video. We really appreciate the watch time and the fact that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us talking about the sport that we all love. If you enjoyed the content, why not, drop a like down below or comment in the comment section. Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. And I mean, while you are here right now, have a look at some of our old videos too. They should be appearing on the screen right now, along with that subscribe button. So you know exactly what to do. Thank you so much. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great day out there. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks. Stay safe.